Welcome. Hi, everybody. And once again, we are having a wonderful podcast today. And I have with me an amazing person. Uh, she is Shimagne Rajan. And I'm saying wonderful because she is my yoga instructor, uh, an amazing yoga instructor. And this podcast is exactly going to be pertaining to, we're going to talk about yoga and its philosophy and all that stuff. It's going to be quite interesting. Um, so let me introduce Shimagne Rajan to you. And yeah, Shimagne, can you just say hi to our viewers?
Everyone, hi.
Okay, so I've joined Shimagne her yoga classes, and it's been amazing time for me, learning a lot from her. Um, but I don't want to talk much. It's going to be all Shimagne's time today. So Shimagne, yeah, how did you get into? I mean, how many years you are into teaching yoga, and how did you get into it? Could you share with us?
So I started in 2016. As a kid, I've always been into athletics, and my parents have always been into academics. So for the longest time, I did whatever they asked me to do: go to this school, go to that college, go to this university, this degree, that degree, did everything. And then I came back to India, and I was like, okay, I need to really figure out what is it that I really want to do. And I there's nothing wrong with a desk job. There's nothing wrong with a 9 to 5, but I just didn't want to do it. I cannot sit in front of the laptop and work for hours together. And and I would notice a lot of people, doing a lot of these corporate jobs. For some people, it works. For me, it personally did not work out the way I wanted. And I kept asking myself, what is it that I really want to do with my life? And I wanted to give back, to the society, give back to people. Uh, any small change, small in a small way, doesn't matter how big it is. But that's when I started, and yoga just like hit my brain, like it was yoga. And I like neurosciences. I like how the mind functions. So I wanted to do something which is physical and also with the mind. So that's it. And then I knew yoga had both the mind and the body, and I never looked back after that.
Wow. If you really see our YouTube, we also talk about a lot of neuroscience stuff.
Oh my
Um,
God.
and yeah, this is wonderful. So you were first in doing a corporate job, and then you shifted into yoga. So did you have this in mind that I'm getting into yoga because I want to teach yoga, or you just wanted to practice it?
Generally works the other way. A lot of people practice yoga and then they head to teach. But for me, it was I wanted to teach yoga, but I had no idea what it is. Nothing. I had no idea. I was not even very well aware of what kind of practice is it. Is it spiritual? Is it physical? No idea. Clueless. I just jumped.
Yeah. So uh, obviously now you are teaching yoga. You learned yoga and then you started teaching. So what is why a person needs to get into yoga according to you?
My God, that I think why shouldn't they not?
Yeah.
You basically like I'm sure you're also very well aware. It's a spiritual practice. But there are a lot of byproducts of yoga,
Okay.
but today we all focus only on the byproducts of yoga, basically the benefits of yoga. you know I am into this practice now after many years for a spiritual reason. It is not for any other purpose, but a lot of people would like to practice yoga because of health benefits that it gives you. Do you want me to get into the benefits of it completely?
Yeah, you just we are just want to listen from you. If it is spiritual, why you wanted, what kind of spiritual aspect you wanted? from yoga
Okay.
and how it is so spiritual. Then let's talk about the health aspect.
The health aspect. Okay, fine. So basically, when I started my practice and started studying it and reading a lot of books and my own personal practice on the mat, there were a lot of changes mentally that had happened. I completely forgot about all the physical part of it, and I started connecting with myself more. Who really am I? I am still trying to figure that out.
Mhm.
To connect with the truth. So that is the spiritual side of it. Basically, the rishis or the saints or priests, they say this because of enlightenment. That is the ultimate goal. Enlightenment, connect.
We just missed you because of the bad
Yeah,
internet
but there are
connection.
different ways for.
Could could you just
Okay, okay, okay.
could you just repeat what you said?
No, I was saying that. So yoga is one of those parts to get to know your true self, the soul, whatever they call it. Different schools call it different things. So that's I mean, the more you question this path, the more difficult it gets. If you can go straight without questioning, when you start questioning, you have to take like along the back door.
Mhm.
So you have to just like dive in completely with no expectations and just surrender.
Okay,
Surrendering
so
is the
so
most
you
important part that you
yeah,
focus on.
so that's so important. So you believe that yoga uh, helps you to connect to your own self, like your true self, right?
Yes,
So
yes, it does.
uh, like how, like what are the difference, what difference did you experience uh, from the Shimagne who was there before 2016 and now?
Okay, no, I mean, I will speak more of the. There are the superficial changes that were there, and then there were like the deeper changes. I think I started becoming more clear of the things I want and I didn't want in my life. So the clarity was there. You were more at peace with yourself, whoever you are. You are more at peace with even other people. You know,
Hmm.
these were the main two things that really helped me
Okay,
through
so
yoga. Yeah.
it's more kind of a path of self-realization. That's what you're saying.
Yes. Yes. A lot of self-realization. And I think like the more you connect with yourself, the more you don't need to ask another person what or for an advice or what should I do. You yourself know the answers. You're so deeply connected with you that you don't doubt it anymore. You're like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do, and
Wow,
you go.
wow, wow. So what's the science behind it? Like how one gets so spiritual in just practicing this so-called asanas and all that stuff, like what's the basic science behind it?
Okay. So yoga basically is derived from the word called yuj. It's a Sanskrit word, yuj. Yuj means union. Now, union of what? What is the union? You have any idea?
uh, I google searched and it's like more of union between you and your divine and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. That is true. So the connection between the individual and the supreme being. But then how do you achieve it? So basically it is the union of body and mind, to keep it very simple, body and mind. But then what connects the body to the mind? It's the breath, right? So that is the only way you can connect yourself to the mind, is through your breath. So yoga has there is something called the eight ashtanga yoga. It's also called ashtanga yoga, meaning ashtanga means eight
Mhm.
limbs. So under yoga, there is asana, which is your physical practice. After that, you have pranayama, which is the breath practice. Then you have yamas and niyamas. So yama and niyamas are basically rules to live in harmony with other people in the society and to live with yourself. Okay. After you have yama niyama, you have pratyahara, which is again a sense withdrawal practice. From pratyahara, you go on to dharana, which is concentration. Then you have dhyana, which is again meditation. And then you have samadhi when you're ready. Samadhi is basically enlightenment. So you have to go through those 8 steps to achieve enlightenment.
Wow. And so it's like when you're practicing, are you imbibing this all 8 steps during a practice session?
No, so when you're teaching, every student is at a different level.
Mhm.
So especially in my classes, it is more to do with asana and pranayama. Those things are the first, they're the basics. Those things have to be mastered first, then you can start moving on. But
Okay.
slowly, if the student is ready, you can practice a few of these principles. So
Mhm.
I generally teach especially with your batch, it's again asana, pranayam, and then I have a yoga nidra class that happens with you, which is psyche sleep, which is pratyahara, sense withdrawal practice. And dharana and dhyana, I teach it for the intermediate batch, dharana
Mhm.
especially, the practice of concentration. Yeah. Then
So,
it's up to you. Or if you're lucky this life, you'll get samadhi, you'll get enlightenment. If you're not, then you're coming back again.
so have you come across like people who have experienced enlightenment through yoga?
No, I haven't met anyone yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is wonderful that that it's like a path, right? Yoga is basically like a path, a spiritual
Yeah.
path that you are taking. And can you just clarify, is yoga, I mean, when we talk about yoga, many people have this wrong notion in the mind that it is pertaining to a specific religion. So is that true? What is it actually? Because many a times then there are people who will say, oh, this is pertaining to a specific religion. I don't want to get into that box of the other religion or this and that. So is it pertaining to a religion? Is it spiritual? What exactly, like, it is?
Okay, so yoga basically, I have come across a lot of people who have this wrong notion that yoga is religious and it belongs to Hinduism. But if you actually start digging in deep and you go through the scripture or the books, nowhere it's mentioned yoga belongs to a particular religion or it has to do with Hinduism. It's
Mhm.
mentioned that yoga is for everyone, it's for everybody, every person here on this planet. And also there's a Shiva plays a very important role in yoga. Now, why Shiva?
Mhm.
People think because it's a Hindu god, so we worship Shiva in our yoga classes or whatever it is. Yoga, Shiva is considered our first guru. That is the reason why we even chant Om at the
Mhm.
start of the class, is giving respect to our first guru.
Okay.
So that's the only reason. So we have stories that say that Shiva was the one who brought in yoga on this planet.
Okay.
And it passed down to Patanjali, who's the father of yoga. And then it just went on from there. So yoga has nothing to do with religion. Honestly, it has nothing to do with religion. If you're comfortable, you chant Om. If you're not, don't chant. But you need to really come and experience yoga yourself first to make a remark saying that it belongs to a particular religion.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree with you. And even when we talk about Shiva, I mean, there are people who look at Shiva as deity, but one
And
can,
sorry, I didn't hear.
I mean, when people talk about Shiva, I mean, there are people who look at Shiva as a deity, a
Yeah,
god,
yeah.
but there are also people who look at it as a spiritual concept.
Yeah.
Uh, and I think there's a philosophy which talks about Shiva as the void, something like that, right?
Yes.
So yeah, in our meditations and in this channel, we talk about the void quite often. And yeah, when we talk about all these things like Om, I mean, in a primordial form, is just a sound, and sound has no religion. And so I agree with you. Sound has no religion, and it does not belong to specific religion. In fact, I believe God doesn't have religion. And everyone,
Yeah.
look, we have given that name to God, but there's no God in I mean, there's no religion as per se, connected only to a particular God or something like that. Okay, so this is beautiful. So I heard from someone, or I was just scrolling on some Facebook videos. The guy said that Patanjali was an atheist. In fact, I mean, he didn't believe. Is it true? Are you aware of
I
it?
know the fact that Patanjali is a sage,
Hmm.
and as far as my knowledge is there, uh, he is the father for yoga and for even Sanskrit as well.
Okay.
So I have never, I don't want to simply put anything across saying that, he's an atheist or he was a religious man. But you are right, there is no mention of his religion. There is nothing like that. He
Okay.
just came in, shared his knowledge, and he went off. That
So,
is
like,
Patanjali.
when was this? Like, when was this Patanjali who came, who started this whole thing? Like, uh, how many years back? Like, is it like recent, 1,000 years, 2,000 years? I'm not sure.
No, it is way more than that. It's many years. I think it's in the 80s.
Okay, and then
Yeah.
he wrote a book.
Yes, the Yoga Sutras.
Okay, that's like
It's
the Yoga Bible.
Yeah, it's the Yoga Bible, you can call it. So all whatever basically in that you'll find every detail of what is the meaning of asana, what is the meaning of pranayama, what are the benefits of doing a yogic practice, what happens to you if you don't do a yogic practice,
Mhm,
so if when you go in for a yoga practice, you have those are the parameters that you have to meet when you're teaching
mhm,
yoga, then it is yoga according to the Yoga Sutras.
mhm, mhm. Okay, so uh, does yoga have like lots to do? I mean, on this channel we talk lots about the chakras and all that stuff. Like, personally do a lot of meditation on the seven chakras. So how is this chakras and yoga and asanas are connected? uh,
Okay, good question. So
yeah.
you have seven chakras along the spine, starting from the base and going all the way up to the crown. Those are the most important chakras. We have other chakras also on the other parts of the body, but these seven are the most. So why is it important in yoga? Is that when these chakras are in balance, uh, you're you achieve enlightenment. You're connected with the supreme being. You're one with the supreme being. And how is it connected with the asana practice specifically? So there are particular postures, like your standing postures will be connected to the base chakra. That is the Muladhara chakra, which is
The
more
root
of
chakra.
yes. Then
Mm,
if you so if and then you notice that in the classes you have back bends. So back bend is connected more with the heart chakra.
mhm,
So when you're doing an asana practice, specifically asana practice, these chakras, what we align with them, but that doesn't mean it will happen in a month's time or a 2 months time. It takes time.
mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
even pranayama for that matter also has a major role in aligning with yourself with the chakras, getting all the chakras in balance. So like the name says pranayama,
Mm,
it has to go with the heart chakra. Your prana comes in here at the heart. So again, that is the anahata chakra, the heart chakra. So that is
wow.
there are a lot that we can talk about, but then I think like a lot of people will get confused if I get into
Yeah.
the depths of. So I'm just gonna like
Yeah, let's
give a
not go
little.
to the rabbit hole. We just
Yes,
touch the
yes,
surface. uh,
yeah.
yeah, wow. So and These chakras are basically they are energy centers, right? And
Yes.
mostly it is like pertaining to the chemistry of your body.
Yeah.
Of course, because they are put exactly where the hormonal glands are, right?
Yes. Yes. That's correct.
And so when you're doing this asanas, if I'm right, these asanas are literally massaging your hormonal glands.
Different glands are massaged. That will
Okay.
be that will be more like if you there'll be a more science explanation to it. It will
Yeah.
connect with the glands and those particular nerves because it's along the spine, right? So there are all nerves coming out. So those different energy points are located at the center of different centers of the spine, and then you have all your nerves. So that is how the
Yeah.
asana practice and the chakras are come
Yeah.
into
So
nobody's.
in fact, there is a lot of science to it, right?
There are tons of it.
I mean, yeah. And I mean, for me, like spirituality and science is like, for me personally, it's one thing. And I see all this energy centers. I mean, it can be explained so well in science. And again, science doesn't have any religion. So,
Yeah.
so people can understand this stuff. And okay, so um, uh, I mean, what are the, like, if I say, what are the main health benefits a person can experience just by getting into yoga practice, leaving the spiritual aspect?
Yes. Okay. You're back.
Yeah.
Okay. The main
Uh,
you cannot even, there are countless of them. You can hear me?
yeah, yeah,
Yes. So there are countless health benefits if you practice yoga. One is better sleep. Then you have
yeah.
better
I just
blood
want to
circulation.
stop you on this. I just want to stop you on this because I was suffering a lot in terms of sleeping pattern of mine.
Okay.
Uh, I mean, I would sleep sometimes at 4. I have meditations like 4:30 a.m. in the morning with most of those people who are viewing me right now. And I used to sleep around 4 o'clock in the morning, sleep half an hour, wake up for the meditation practice. And then, my whole sleep pattern was disturbed. And I tried some Ayurvedic medicines. I tried some stuff to get sleep, but I could not sleep. But the day I joined your classes and I started practicing yoga, trust me, like the first day, it's 12 o'clock and I'm like, boom, I'm zonked off. So, so that's like, trust me, that was like, this is like miracle for me. So, you know, that literally the first class itself showed me that there has been some balance happening in my whole self. Something is
Yeah.
being fixed just by doing this particular, getting into this particular, practice. And that's why it made me more aligned to this practice. And I revere this practice because it really benefited me. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, awesome. Oh yeah. So to actually, in fact, since you say you shared this with me today, one of my students also just before I got home now, she was telling me about how she's a teacher. She doesn't sleep at all. Like at night, it's very disturbed sleep. But then she was telling me again, same thing in the afternoon. She was passing out in the bus, and she was like, "Oh, I never fall asleep, you know." But since the time she's not joined, basically started doing yoga, she sleeps better. So I'm very happy to know that you
Wow.
continue to practice. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, for better sleep is one. Then you have better blood circulation to all parts of the body. Besides better sleep, pain relief.
Hmm.
It regularizes periods in women. These days, a lot of women suffer from irregular periods or PCOD, or infertility.
Yeah.
You know, so yoga helps there as well. Again, people with anxiety, panic attacks, it helps to calm the mind, bring peace to the mind.
Wow.
There are so There's a lot. It helps to balance the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system, the
Wow.
flight and mode. So basically, when I teach, and I'm sure a lot of other teachers across the world, when they teach, the whole thing is to bring the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system in balance. Otherwise, we're always active, we're always stressed. So our sympathetic nervous system is always high.
Mm-hmm.
We want to, you know, bring
Yeah.
the parasympathetic nervous system higher or lower in
Yeah.
balance, so we can be more at peace and relaxed.
Yeah. I love this whole path. When we, I mean, let me come back to the spiritual aspect also. I love the whole path of yoga because I've been practicing spirituality. I've been practicing religion last 15 years or so, or more than that.
Okay.
And uh, the loophole I found out in religion was, especially into the circle that I was in, is we would focus so much on us being just spirit beings.
Okay.
Okay, and we would just focus on maybe connecting to God in just spirit and all that stuff. And throughout this journey of mine, I found out like we practice something like healing and all that stuff. So people would come and they would get healed, they would go home, and they would come again and say, oh, my diabetes is healed, but I've got another problem now. And now that other problem is got healed, and so there is no change in the lifestyle, but the person is getting sick with some or the other issues. And so when with deep thoughts I realized that spirituality is not just about spirit. Spirituality is about the body, the mind, the emotions, because we humans are not just spirit beings, we are confluence of all these things. So the body is important. If your body is healthy, then only your emotions will be healthy. There'll be right chemicals going in your body. uh, the whole electrical circuit will be running well, the mind will be well. And if all this thing is well, I believe then the spirit becomes well. And so that's the reason why I feel this ancient Indian science or spirituality or this philosophy of yoga is so beautiful, that it has the holistic view and the real
Yeah.
understanding of what spirituality is and how spirituality is supposed to be. So I just wanted to say that, because truly, because many people think spirituality is just maybe Christian is saying that I just need to stand in front of some image and just join my hands and pray. That's wonderful. Or some Hindu will say I need to just do my puja. You know, everyone will say that, but yoga is one that brings truly all the aspects: the body, the mind, the breath, emotion, everything together. And it's really truly, as you said, as it says, it's like a union between everything. And
Yeah.
that's why I really revere this philosophy and this kind of Eastern philosophies. And most of the viewers, are Christian viewers that view this channel of mine. And I want to say, just this is just believed also that Jesus, in his 18 years of in the Bible, there's no mention where he was for 18 years. And suddenly we see he at the age of 30. And there are evidences. I mean, this is just out there, but I'm not saying just take it as it is. But it's something to think about. He himself came down to Himalayas and practiced yoga, meditation, and all that stuff. And there are so many evidences there. Like they have found, a researcher from Russia found out some texts where they found this guy called Isa who came from the east. and practiced yoga, practiced meditation with the Himalayan Tibetan monks. So yeah, I mean, if I really say that, in fact, intricately, every religion practices breath work. Every religion practices, mostly I'm talking about the Eastern religion. Like Christianity comes from the Jewish religion, and the Jews, they had this temple, and there was this veil in the temple, and there was this place which was called a very holy place, and in order for the priest to enter that place, he used to do a breath work. and and it's only believed that when he was doing this breath work, he would transmute himself through this veil and get into that the most holiest place of the temple. So and we see in the scriptures of Christian Bible many places that every time it says Jesus used to breathe his spirit. So the word there is ruach, and ruach means actually breath. So I see, when I see scriptures, whether it's Hinduism or Christianity, this is breath doesn't have religion. Breath is universal. Exercise doesn't have religion. Your hormones don't have religion. Your glands don't have religion. Your energy doesn't have religion. So I it's such a beautiful path, and I believe it's given by divine to every Eastern people out here to practice and to make our life better. I personally have been experiencing, after the yoga practices, my mind is more calm. I'm more, I can get into this. You might be knowing, because you are more into neuroscience and all, this thing called as the theta brainwave state. So I can tap into it more faster. I can, after the practice, it's more easier for me to get into the theta brainwave state, because many of us mostly live in this beta brainwave state, and all the time, thousand thoughts in our mind, stress. I mean, today, I think all of us suffer stress. We suffer from hormonal imbalance because of the diet and all that. We have just become mechanical beings, and I think
Yes.
yoga is beautiful path to make us more to know our own self, more to know our body, more to know our mind, our spirit, and makes you such beautiful person on earth. I'm talking much. I think you should talk now.
No, but that's what I completely think. I think like now yoga is the way, with the amount of stress and health conditions that it's on an all-time rise right now, and I think everybody
Yeah,
needs it.
absolutely.
They really really need it. And my suggestion is that I think people should be more open. Don't sit and think of what other people have told you and sit with that mindset. Experience everything, and
Yeah,
then come to a conclusion and say, hey, this is not for me, or this is for me.
yeah.
An open mind that's all that you need, rather than
Why?
a
Let me ask you. Why not simple exercises? Why should you do yoga?
why not simple
You
exercise?
you
Because
are into fitness, right? So it's better to ask you, right?
no, see, even the asana practices also, you'll always hear me say I don't call them exercises. But
Mm-hmm.
when I speak to other people, they when they use the word exercise, I also try to come on their level and I use the word exercise. It is a form of exercise. Some people call it exercise, but your regular exercise that you do, aerobic exercises or at the gym, what happens is that it is just movement. There is no connection of the breath. You're
Mm-hmm.
just moving. Think, pull up your hands up or hands down or jump, squat. It is just mindless movements.
Mhm.
There is no connection with the breath. And in the same thing in class, if people are just mechanically practicing and they're doing anything that they want without connecting with the breath, that again is aerobic practice in a yoga class. So that is why, as a teacher and as a student, it's always very important to keep re-emphasizing, breathe, conscious effort to breathe. You have to keep reminding students
Wow.
about the breath. Otherwise, it just becomes a exercise. It becomes a plain physical practice. Not that there are no benefits. There are benefits, but if you want a deeper connection with yourself and deeper benefits of this practice, then it's very important that we connect with the breath.
That's wonderful.
Anyways, next month for the entire month, for all the batches, we're just going to be focusing on pranayama. So a lot of breath work, 15 minutes at the end of the session. So I want to see.
Let's talk about breath work. Why it is so important?
Why breath work is important?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you know what the meaning of pranayama is? Pranayama.
Yeah, you told me in the class, I think last week.
So basically, you can break it down into two. Prana is life-giving force. Okay, and then you have yama. What does yama mean? Control. Okay, so basically, you are controlling the amount of prana coming into you.
Okay.
So it is the pranayama. You're trying to extend the prana. There's extension of prana that is happening. Now with pranayama practices, especially done with retention, gives you a long life. And with that long life, you have all other benefits. That is, in pranayama is where the main benefits are. Asana also helps, but pranayama has the main, like it regulates your heartbeat. It regulates the amount of breaths you take per minute. The lesser and longer the breath per minute, the lifespan is longer. So the science of breath always tells you the way you breathe, your breath is the way you breathe is fast or slow. That is how the surrounding environment of yours is. So if you're a person always breathing fast, then just look around you, see how your environment is. If you're a person who breathes slowly, relax, lesser breaths per minute, then look at the surroundings around you.
Yeah, they say the tortoise breathes very slow, right? And it leads a long life.
It is about it's very.
Sorry, I missed you. What did you say?
No, I guess that's what 2 breaths a minute or 4 breaths a minute or something like that.
And the dog breathes very fast, and so he dies early.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So your breath, basically, if you want longevity, you want to live long, that you should focus more on mindful breathing, right?
Yeah, with all the practices with retention. All these things have to be retention. Now you can't teach pranayama to everyone. Today, if everyone learns pranayama from YouTube and all these books and all, which is okay, but then you also need to find out if you're ready for it. It is not something that that it's written there on YouTube, I'll go do it. You have to see ready for it, because there's a lot of other details into pranayama.
Wow. So you are a yoga practitioner, an instructor of particular type called Hatha Yoga.
Yeah. Hatha Yoga and Vinyasa Krama.
Okay, so would you like to tell something? What's the difference? I mean, people who don't understand this whole thing, why there are these 2 branches in this whole yoga, and what are the other branches out there?
So there are quite a few forms of yoga. One is called Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. Karma Yoga is basically karma action through seva. That is a style of yoga. Then you have Bhakti Yoga, where basically your satsangs, where you praise and worship. That is another form of yoga. Then you have Jnana Yoga, knowledge. That is Then the third form. Then you have Raja Yoga. Raja Yoga is basically where you sit down and meditate. Now, some scholars, most of the scholars realize that it's very difficult for a person doing Raja Yoga to just sit down and start meditating. Because at first now to sit for like, you have to sit and meditate for hours together, maybe for days together. Now, is it possible for the lifestyle that we have around us to sit in that position for n number of hours, to sit straight? Our bodies are stiff. We don't exercise that. We don't eat well. We don't. So these scholars said that, under Raja Yoga, Hatha Yoga comes. Ha and Tha is basically sun and moon, union of sun and moon, yin and yang, prana and apana. Okay, so they said do Hatha Yoga. Hatha Yoga now again has your asana practice. So that is where the asanas come into picture.
Okay.
That's where it starts.
And what about the vinyasa?
So we have the father of modern yoga. His name is Krishnamacharya. Okay. So Krishnamacharya taught a couple of students. One is Patabi Joyce. He came up with Ashtanga Yoga. That is Mysore style. That is a different, it's not same as the 8 limbs. This is a complete different practice, a physical pranayama practice. So there is Ashtanga Yoga. Then Krishnamacharya had another student called BKS Iyengar. So he came up with Iyengar Yoga, where you practice yoga with props, with blocks, with chairs, bolsters. Then you have Sri Vatsa Ramaswamy. He teaches Vinyasa Krama. Now, these are all slow movements with the breath. So that you're already doing pranayama while you're doing those movements.
Okay.
So these are different forms of yoga, but the goal is the same.
Wow. And when I looked, the notion that I had when it is pertaining to yoga, I thought yoga is all about flexibility. Do you need to be flexible?
No,
which
a lot of people think.
I think I'm the worst flexible person in your class.
No, nothing like that. But that's what, when people call me, that's the first thing they tell me, hey, you know what, I'm not flexible. That's okay. It's yoga is not for flexible people, or it's not for stiff people. It's for everyone. So that is something that if you don't have strength or you don't have flexibility, that's absolutely fine. You can practice.
Wow. And it's for any body type, right?
Any body type.
Any body type, any age.
Any age. Any age. Yeah.
Wow. So you said you love neuroscience and all that stuff. Can you have some connecting points to yoga and neuroscience, how it helps?
So so for me earlier when I started, all I knew yoga was a physical practice. I had no idea about pranayama and pratyahara and meditation and all these things. I had no knowledge about all this. So I thought, okay, it's a physical practice, and then later on I know, okay, it connects the body and mind, but I didn't know how is this all possible. So your question was how because I like neurosciences,
is there benefits of yoga in the neuro kind of thing and all this stuff?
So basically in yoga, what happens in all your practices that you're doing, the subtle practices, the not so subtle practices, we are trying to connect with the subconscious mind. And we're trying to we're not reaching there still, it's trying to, understand the ego mind and also manage the ego mind. You cannot just say, hey, ego mind, go away. You need to manage it. So we're trying, connecting more to the subconscious mind, trying to understand what it's trying to tell us. And I think that's what it is. At the moment you can connect with the subconscious mind, you start connecting with yourself. Wow. And then the conscious mind takes backseat. All the time when we are growing up as even children, as kids, when we are 1 year old, 2 year old, as babies, and we start, we are automatically the ego mind is active. It's how our society is. And so what subconscious mind is like, you know what, you're not listening to me, so bye bye, I'm going to sit behind and watch. And the conscious does whatever it wants to do. It gets angry, it gets fascinated with material stuff, it's jealous, this, that, there's so much
So it's more
competition.
of your conscious mind,
Identity.
your ego is more active.
Yeah, your ego mind, the conscious mind is always active. When does it ever stop?
Wow.
And so basically, if you want to connect with the subconscious mind, there are certain practices that you do. Also, I believe that affirmations play a huge role in if you want to connect with the subconscious mind.
So if I attended, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you because I might forget what I want to ask you. There was one yoga practice that you did in the class where we were doing the asanas and doing affirmations. I loved that.
Yeah. You were there?
What is that?
Were there for the affirmation class?
Yes. How is the whole thing like when you're doing this asanas and affirmation? What is really happening?
No, so like you had mentioned earlier, we are trying to connect with get your mind in a state of theta rather than being always at theta. Now, what happens with when you're practicing your asana practice, a lot of emotions come out for a lot of people. Forward bends, back bends. There are a lot of emotions that come out. And then for people to what I did the other day with affirmations is just for people to know that, hey, there is something called the affirmations as well. Just giving them a teaser. And so with affirmations, there is movement added to the asana practice. And so if you're saying something like, I am safe, I may give an asana practice with hands on your shoulders and saying, I am safe. So I'm also trying to make them feel that they are safe. Just saying affirmations will not help. Feelings, your emotions, what you attach to it plays a huge role to it. I was just trying to make the class more fun and interesting. So on Fridays, some Fridays we do affirmations and
Wow.
What happens with your physical practice, and when I ask you to sit down, the mind is more calm. You're more confident, you're more relaxed, you're more happy, peaceful. And then I will get into the deeper side of it when we do the classes.
Wow. And how does chanting help?
How does chanting help? So chanting helps basically in the practice of dharana, concentration. So you keep repeating the same mantra. Mantra is basically something that you repeat over and over again. It again doesn't have to do anything with the Hindu religion. You can chant whatever you want. It's absolutely fine. Okay, it doesn't have to be a Hindu mantra or whatever the people call it, anything. It is just to help you to concentrate. Now with chanting, what happens is that, especially in Sanskrit, when you chant, you have to chant those words in a particular way. If you do not chant it in a particular way, there's a different frequency going out. If you chant it the right way, there's the right frequency going out. So that is one thing. Chanting is also a form of breathing work. So chanting helps again in regularizing all your hormones, in better blood circulation, helping to calm the mind. So, and helping to breathe better. Chanting helps to breathe.
So it's almost like a breath work also.
It is breath work also.
Wow.
If you chant anything, Om for that matter, you notice I always say in class, don't chant because someone else can chant longer than you. Listen to your breath, see where you are, chant accordingly. That is how your inhales and exhales are chanted accordingly. So then it helps in increasing the inhales and exhales. And then again, that is one of the byproducts. And again, you're connecting on a higher level.
Wow. And it does help with your because I've noticed, like, when I'm chanting, there's vibration happening in your body, and it vibrates your, it massages your vagus nerve.
Yes. It massages your
Yeah.
vagus nerve, right? Yeah. There
Wow.
are even asana practices that science has asana in yoga that have told us particular postures that help in massaging the vagus nerve. Normal regular exercises do not do that.
Wow, this is amazing. Wow.
Yeah, and
And
especially
I remember you said once that uh, repeating repeating something creates new neural pathways. Tell me something
yeah.
about that.
In Vinyasa Krama, the movements I do it 3 times. So when you repeat a particular movement over and over again, or you say the same thing over and over again, it creates new neural pathways.
Wow. So this is
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah. So, like, as I said, like, if you dive into this rabbit hole, it's there's no end to it. I mean, just this podcast is, I believe, enough for us to understand how important, how vital this path is. I mean, it's so amazing. It's so
Yes.
amazing. Like, uh, you can say, I mean, this kind of spirituality is, I am for it, because it is a holistic spirituality. It makes you better. So, I don't know if you have more time, but I would love to keep asking you questions. Uh, is there any spiritual experience you had in your life when pertaining to yoga, or have you come across somebody having some amazing spiritual experience?
I mean, I've met a lot of people that have said they've had spiritual experiences. I have never personally asked because only because like I don't want to be too curious about it, or I'm not
Mhm.
getting too personal with them. But for me, like I mentioned, nothing very deep has happened. But I keep doing the same practice day in, day out. If there has been any sort of experience, it is more of the mind that I've experienced. The person I was in 2016, it's a total flip
Yeah.
uh,
I
coming to the
wonder, I
present.
wonder how you were before 2016. Were you like angry? Were you used to be angry person? Were you used to be sad, depressed? What kind of shift did you see?
No. I was not
Or,
angry. I
or
was
you were
not
always good
sad,
Shimagne?
upset.
Were you always the
I
good
was a
Shimagne?
very I was always the good Shemaine, but I was a little, not little, quite hyper, like full of energy, which is great. But then, also yoga teaches you how to contain your energy. There are certain conserving your energy is very important. So my energy would be all over the place,
Wow. I
doing.
don't, I right now I can't believe that, because whenever I see you, whenever I meet you, you're always like water. Because, and I always think this Shimaine is like water. I can't see that kind as you are describing. But yeah, it's so important that we have so much energy, and it's all, the energy is all around. And sometimes that energy which is there all around, it is causing some harm out there, maybe unintentionally creating some ruckus here and there. But I love the energy that I can literally feel it, the way you contain your energy. And I see that uh, surely is because of your yoga practice.
Yes. So I was just going to come to that. Like you said, I've contained, I try to conserve my energy with all my spiritual practices. Lately, I've not been practicing a lot on the mat because of certain injuries. I do practice on alternate days because I don't like to miss my practice at all. And,
Mhm.
uh, uh, and like any sort of benefit, like sorry, not benefits. You asked me how was I before this. I was to be a rebel. complete rebel. I would question everything. Now it's just changed. The questions are still there, but it's not too much.
Yeah.
So
You're not
that's
provoked. You're not provoked by
not,
the questions.
not provoked
Wow.
at all.
Wow, this is amazing. This is amazing and so good. And I'm glad that we had this podcast. Surely, somewhere down the line, when we all want to learn more deeper things, I hope you come back.
Yes, thank you for having me today.
It was really amazing. I mean, uh, there's so much. There's a list of questions I can keep on asking about this, but I think this is amazing. This 1 hour has been so fruitful and so knowledgeable, and you are finding a teacher here, and you are finding a student here, and you guys who are watching are seeing two people who are sharing their experiences on this particular spiritual path. And I'm saying spiritual again and again because I don't want to say it's a religious path, it's a
Yes,
spiritual path. And I personally believe that this spiritual path is for the betterment of the whole society and to become a
right.
holistic man or human being, right? So Shimagne believes that it has made her a better human and it's making her a better human. I believe it's making me also. So before, we just wrap this up, um, you would like to say anything to the viewers who are watching us, like if they want to, uh, okay, let's put it like this. Um, what are the myths people have about yoga? I mean, you should have come across many, right?
Yes, and we spoke about a few.
Few,
One
yeah.
is yoga is Hinduism.
Mm.
Second is yoga is only for flexible people.
Mm.
Then third is to practice yoga, you have to be thin. Uh,
Mhm.
yeah, these are a few of the most important ones
Important
I've heard.
myths,
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely.
especially the religion one is something that I have
I
heard a
think,
lot.
yeah, and that's the main one. I think many people, uh, protect themselves from joining a yoga class or being part of experiencing the yoga class. Like when we talk about I'm going to the gym, we never say gymming is oh, it belongs to Christian religion or Hindu religion or some other religion. But when it comes
Hmm.
to yoga, we immediately connect it to a particular religion.
Yeah,
Uh, but it is not. It is spiritual. It is holistic. I would say it is holistic.
holistic.
Again, yeah, if I say spiritual, again, some people will categorize spirituality in some particular way. But I believe it's so holistic and it is so vital uh, to everyone. And I think I believe everyone should practice yoga.
Everyone should. It's for everyone. It's really, really, truly for everyone.
So
If
yeah,
yes,
go ahead, go ahead.
no, if there is something that I would want to tell the viewers tonight is that there's so much of wrong information, wrong knowledge. We are also so ignorant, So sometimes I think it's best that, like I mentioned earlier, put ourselves out there, have an open mind, experience everything, experience yoga, experience Buddhism, Tai Chi, Kung Fu, whatever it is, whatever rides your boat, experience it, and then come to a
Come
conclusion.
to a conclusion.
If you haven't experienced it, then we can't compartmentalize things and say this is not right and this is wrong.
Yeah,
We need to experience things to come to a conclusion.
absolutely. So last one.
Yes,
Do we need? Can we just watch YouTube and learn yoga, or a teacher is a prerequisite?
have you tried YouTube and yoga?
I uh, my philosophy is I'm a strong believer in guru and disciple stuff. So I
Okay.
believe in teachers. So I don't even think about like I need to learn, something from YouTube.
Yeah. No, I would say personally, it's important that you have a good teacher, a good guide. That's very important, especially in a path like yoga, because you can really get lost.
Hmm.
And once you have is the basic knowledge, then you can do whatever you want. But it's really important to have a teacher uh, to help you out, to guide you.
Wow. During your yoga class, I see you following a certain pattern, right?
Which
It's like,
pattern?
it's like asanas and then pranayama and then meditation. Is
It's the
this
same. It's the same pattern I just explained to you, the asana pranayama.
okay?
That
So
was
this is in general always like that, right?
I do it personally this way. I
Okay.
don't teach meditation first and then do asanas. I don't. I've never done it before, but I teach asana first because the body is warmed enough. It's open. Now you're ready to sit for about 10-15 minutes to do pranayama.
Mm.
Now you're ready to sit. Now the mind is calm after doing pranayama. Now you're ready to meditate. You know.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
that's the follow.
Wow. That's amazing. Okay. I'm done. So, uh, thank you, Shimaine. Really, thank you for giving us your time. And at this point of time, Shimaine is very busy, uh, and she has come and given her time to us and given such knowledge and her experience. I'm so grateful, and I'm so grateful that I got a wonderful uh, person and a teacher whose energy is well contained. So yeah, trust me, guys, she's so amazing. Like for me, yoga was like I've been into calisthenic, uh, been practicing calisthenic for a year. I'm not downgrading it, but I'm just saying I've been practicing it, and like I'm like, what is this yoga just going to be like flexible and all that stuff? The first day itself, it was like equal to 3 hours of calisthenic. I was like sweating, and I sweat so much, and it's the muscles are active. Almost all the muscles are active of your body, and I have like after the classes, I have that pain that you have, the soreness when you go
Yeah.
to a gym and you experience this later on. And when all these things happen, I was quite amazed, like how beautiful, how holistic this particular thing is. So Shimaine, thank you once again.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. Bless you.
Yes, thank you.
So, guys, please share and share this wonderful podcast, and please click the like button. And also, if you have any questions, put into this comment section below. If you want Shimaine back again on the podcast, also put it in the comment section below. We'll have her back again. So, thank you guys for watching this podcast, and yeah, see you soon. Bye.
Yes, thank you, Vernal. Thank you so much. And I will
Yeah.
see you tomorrow in class.
Bye, guys.